Hello, Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda's channel. Thank you for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload videos, you'll be the first person to be notified. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of ours. You guys are the real MVP.
So lovely. So I came across this video online for you and I thought to share. But this European American man is actually out to review so many things about his own kind. This actually sparked a lot of conversation in his comment sections and I was able to put out some of his stitches. I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together because I actually find this very educating and well informed. Please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. Alright lovelies, let's dive into it.
Europeans have always been the worst colonizers. Let's make one thing clear. Not all empires were the same. Yes, conquest existed before Europe, but what Europe brought was a systematized apocalypse, a global, mechanized, extractive, and delusional machine built to erase, enslave, and rename the entire planet in its image. The Umayyads, the Abbasids, and the Ottomans colonized, but they didn't burn libraries to build stock exchanges. Baghdad's Beit al-Hikmah, or House of Wisdom, preserved Greek, Persian, Indian, and Chinese texts. Islamic expansion introduced algebra, hospitals, and multilingual court systems, not forced conversions by musket. Arabic became a lingua franca across empires, not by mandate, but by scholarship, commerce, and adaptation. Compare that to the Spanish, who reduced Mexican codices to ashes in Tenochtitlan, declared Nahuatl satanic, and forced Catholic confessions under torture. The Mongols built the longest contiguous empire in history. Yes, they killed, but they didn't erase. Genghis Khan's court had Chinese, Persian, and Muslim scholars side by side. They taxed knowledge instead of obliterating it. If you were a doctor, teacher, or artisan, you were protected. They built relay stations and free travel passes for scholars, not railroads to plantations. Contrast that with the Belgians in Congo, who cut off children's hands for not bleeding enough rubber out of trees, and never built a single university. The Ming dynasty's reach across Asia and Africa via Zheng He's treasure fleets brought porcelain, books, and medicine, not settler colonies. Chinese colonization in places like Vietnam did exist, but it included civil service exams, Confucian schooling, and a food exchange, not sugar plantations and forced sterilization. Now compare that to the British, who called India their jewel, while creating over 30 million famine deaths through forced cash cropping and grain export during droughts. Yes, the Inca, Aztec, and Maya had conquest, but it was regional, symbolic, and seasonal. Tribute came in textiles, maize, and cacao, not slavery and amputated limbs. Sacred war, like Sochi Yaoyotl, was regulated by religious calendars and often ended in ritual rather than extermination. The Spanish responded by melting golden temples into bars, genociding 90% of indigenous populations, and naming towns after saints who never stepped foot on the continent. Europe didn't just conquer land. It conquered meaning, redrew maps, renamed rivers, invented race, mass-manufactured lies like terra nullius, turned people into property, culture into commodity, nature into capital. And then after 500 years of bloodshed, they wrote textbooks, calling themselves explorers. No Islamic caliphate ever created a global insurance market for enslaved human cargo. No Mongol horde ever renamed continents, burned genealogies, banned native languages, and then demanded tribute for the civilization they just annihilated. European colonialism wasn't just violent. It was uniquely annihilative, designed to erase the planet and rewrite it in their own rotting image. No empire before or since has done more to erase history, decimate the biosphere, and then demand a thank you note in return. Cope. Europeans have always stolen everything. They've stolen land, of course, but that was just the opening act. Europeans have stolen everything, Material, labor, lifeways, language, even the ability to imagine a future outside of their theft. They stole Turtle Island with treaties they never honored, stole Africa with borders they never lived in, stole Australia by calling it empty, stole Palestine by funding a settler state, and each time they renamed the theft as discovery. They didn't just take territory, they fabricated sovereignty out of violence. They built nations on unmarked graves, then built museums to frame it as progress. Chattel slavery wasn't just forced work. It was the systemic extraction of time, body, memory, and reproductive life. The transatlantic slave trade turned people into credit, generations into capital, and when formal slavery ended, they simply renamed it indenture, plantation debt, prison labor, minimum wage. They don't pay, they extract. Every developed European economy sits atop the plunder of others. Belgium's wealth equals Congo's mutilated children. Britain's empire equals Bengal's famines. India's looted GDP. France's monuments equal Haitian reparation payments. Spain's gold equals indigenous blood across Abya Yala. They didn't build wealth, they looted it. Then they called it industrialization. They took African deities and renamed them demons, took Arab numbers and called them Western math, took Eastern philosophy and sold it as mindfulness, took black music and charted it with white faces. They turned Yoruba into voodoo, turned indigenous prophecy into apocalypse fiction, took the drum, the braid, the spice, the chant, then banned it, then sold it back through Apple commercials and Coachella fashion lines. Europeans don't create, they curate what they've already stolen. Residential schools, forced adoptions, sterilization clinics, boarding schools, welfare raids. They stole native children, African children, Maori children, Aboriginal children, then documented it in church archives, not courts. And when colonized women resisted, they sterilized them, without consent, without anesthesia, sometimes as policy, sometimes as casual genocide. European time is not neutral, it's stolen. They imposed clocks over cycles, calendars over ceremonies, and 40-hour work weeks over subsistence and kinship. They stole the future by criminalizing rest. They stole the past by rewriting every archive. They even stole the present by flooding the world with distractions while the planet burns. Their time is linear, extractive, and detached from responsibility. It is the schedule of empire. They stole artifacts. They stole bodies. They stole the very dead. Museums across Europe house over 1.5 million stolen cultural artifacts and refuses to return them. British, German, and French museums hold African skulls like trophies, Papuan ancestral bones like anthropology props, indigenous ceremonial pieces as curiosities, while demanding proof of ownership from those they stole from, because Europeans believe possession is 9/10 of humanity. They co-opt freedom. They steal justice. They quote MLK while funding occupation. They chant rights while arming repression. They stole abolition from the enslaved, stole feminism from indigenous matriarchs, stole queer liberation from trans black organizers, then whitewashed every movement they didn't create but couldn't stop. Europeans even steal oppression vocab to dodge accountability. They clear-cut the forests, poisoned the rivers, overfished the oceans, ignited climate collapse. Now they build rockets to Mars, domes on lunar dust, terraforming projects funded by billionaires who couldn't even clean a city block. They stole the earth, and now they want to steal distance from the wreckage. This is not a series of accidents. This is the core of European identity. Theft as cosmology, extraction as culture, ownership as theology. Europeans have always stolen everything because they cannot exist without convincing the world that what is theirs was always up for grabs. They didn't just take gold. They took meaning. They took time. They took worlds. And they call that history. Cope.
If you're really committed to being a racist in this country, you can't unsee what I'm about to show you. You might want to start checking Amazons for blankets, because this gas furnace behind me, you don't get to have one of those either, because that was invented by a black woman named Alice Parker around 1920. She received a patent on it. Yeah, that's how we stay warm today. I mean, if you love potato chips, they gotta go, because a man named George Crumb, a chef in New York, had sent French fries out with a meal and a customer complained. So what did Mr. Crumb do? He sliced potatoes so thin, fried them up, dumped a bunch of salt on them, and sent them out. And that is the American delight of potato chips. They gotta go. But here in the bathroom, Lotta Newman patented the first hairbrush with synthetic bristles in 1898, and she's just the third black American woman to ever receive a patent. And I know this isn't going to affect those skinheads very much. In 1892, George Sampson of Dayton, Ohio, received patent number 476,416 for what is the forerunner of the modern dryer we use today. It's going to suck dry on your clothes outside. In the late 1880s, Samuel Scotron of Pennsylvania patented the curtain rod. Woo, let's go piss off some white girls. It's going to be really hard to plan racist rallies without a color monitor. Invented by Mark Dean, an engineer at IBM, he is also on 3 of the original 9 patents of the IBM PC that came out in 1981. Did you know in 1897, Albert Crowell in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, developed the mechanized ice cream scoop. You know, the click click that separates the ice cream from the spoon, changing the way ice cream is served. And if you're racist and an ice cream lover, it's going to get worse. I told you it's going to get worse. Augustus Jackson, the father of ice cream, pioneered many of the methods we have today to enjoy ice cream, including the way we salt it. Another thing about being a racist, you're going to have to give up the freezer and frozen foods, because Frederick McKinley Jones of Ohio was orphaned at 9 years old with a 6th grade education. A young biracial boy grew up to invent Thermo King, which is the reason why we have frozen foods that are shipped and stored in stores and our homes. You got to give up ice cream and frozen pieces? So if you still want to be a racist, there are some things you're going to need to purge from your life. If you would, just put it out on the curb. I'll send some trucks around to pick it up, and we'll go give it to real Americans who really need it. Have a great day.
So lovelies, the first guy I actually stitched his video has been around for like this period of time, I think a month ago. And he keep on revealing this about European Americans, about his own kind, about Japan colored people, about everything that he has been putting up on his social platform. But he's having a little bit of issue, because anytime he put up stuff like that, his own people comes for him. He keep on, opening and reopening and opening and reopening. The fact remains that these people exactly know whom they are, what they are for, and the kind of atrocities that they have committed, even if they want to actually hide themselves from it. No one can actually hide away sins that have been committed for a very long time. So the sooner they just accept it and try as much as they can to change the narrative, the better, instead of running away from it. I like the fact that even if they feel that they don't have history, at least they have something that they could just point out that this is who they are and what they are known for. And I like the fact that it's actually coming from their own kind. This dude, the first one that I have stage, he's been doing a lot. He's been doing great thing in his platform. You could just check him out on his social. That's why I actually left his watermark. And there's another thing I want to actually point out. So many people, especially believe that people that look like me have never and would not invent nothing. Like the last stage that I put up here, where the punk colored man was actually calling out this racist and cis people that think that black people have never invented or created something, then trying to show them a little bit of the iceberg of what black people has actually created. these people have this impression that, okay, people that looks like me are so unintelligent and unable to create something, and therefore they see us as people that is of no use. But meanwhile, they know deep inside of them that they are the colonists, they are the colonizers. Like, they are very good at taking and refurbish it. Is it refurbish? Okay. I want to actually make an emphasis on something that happened not long ago about this African American TikTok school. It all started after the election, and a black woman decided that she was going to take it upon herself as a lecturer to actually reach out to her student through TikTok, and they call it black, is it African American, I don't know, TikTok school or something thereabout. I have forgotten. I'll look it up again, then maybe probably put it in this comment section. And this actually went viral. A lot of professors, like black professors, were all out and trying to volunteer to actually take it upon themselves to teach all of the histories that was denied, or most of the books that was removed from these libraries. In other words, they want to like use TikTok as a means to reach out to black people to actually educate them in most of those books, or in anything that has to do with our black history. But one thing led to the other. The real person, the first lecturer who actually introduced this TikTok university, she was so overwhelmed and she decided to lay low. And before you know it, a pan-colored woman from somewhere decided to trademark that TikTok school. Even till date, I cannot even find myself in that algorithm anymore. This is just a little that just happened not quite long. Am I even going to talk about the way at which they want to appropriate braids? They want to turn it to, no, black people never invented braid. It's actually Vikings that did that. This is just one of it. And so many other things that they often think that, oh, black people are incapable. Am I even going to talk about this Eniko, this lady whom probably, she's actually a black American musician. And before you know it, a pan-colored woman on TikTok decided to condemn her own lyrics of her own music, Eniko. You could just look it up. And she was calling her own song demonic. The black woman's song demonic. Then she decided to create her own version of the song. She never changed the rhythm. She only changed the lyrics. She turned into a Christian kind of. That actually happened sometime last year. And this got a lot of people so upset to the fact that this pan-colored woman is now claiming a song that is not hers. She even goes as far as monetizing it. She started going out for granting interviews here and there. Like, these are just one of the many. So when these people actually think that people that look like me, because maybe they have more of the resources or thereabout, they just try to like get your thing and just make it theirs. Like, it's so many out there. So when people like the people that stitch their videos come out to spill, it's a good thing that one of them actually know exactly what is going on. Anyway, lovely listener, just leave me your own thought in the comment section for you think of this video. Please subscribe to this channel if you're here to do that. Like, and I will see you, lovely listener, when I upload.
Wanna just leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video? And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. So if you've not subscribed to this channel, do your girl a huge favor to click on the subscription button, like, and I will see you, lovely, when I upload the next one.